Commander Vexthol's mandibles clicked in amusement as he studied the tactical display. The human vessel Defiance hung motionless in space, her engines dark, life support failing. Perfect prey for the Kithaeron Empire's newest battlecruiser. "Look, at them," Vexthol hissed to his bridge crew, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh bridge lights. Soft-bodied mammals, barely evolved from tree-dwelling primitives, no natural armor, no redundant organ systems, no environmental adaptations. How did such fragile creatures ever think they could challenge the might of the Kithaeron fleet? The bridge erupted in the species equivalent of laughter, a harsh chittering that echoed through the ship's corridors. Sub-Commander Krethan pulled up biological data on the main screen, displaying human anatomy in all its perceived weakness. "Sir, observe their pathetic physiology," Krethan announced with scientific disdain. "Single heart, linear digestive system, no backup respiratory organs. Their bones are hollow calcium structures that snap under pressure. Their skin provides no protection whatsoever. Even their vision operates on a laughably narrow spectrum." Vexthol's compound eyes glittered. "And yet, Command wants them taken alive for study. Very well. Prepare boarding pods. We'll crack open their ship like an egg and extract the specimens before they suffocate in their own failing atmosphere." The Defiance had been humanity's most advanced exploration vessel before the ambush. Captain Sarah Chen floated in the darkened bridge, her magnetic boots deactivated to conserve power. Around her, her crew moved with practiced efficiency in the zero-gravity environment, their movements fluid and controlled despite the dire circumstances. "How long until their boarding pods reach us?" she asked quietly, her voice carrying clearly in the thin air. Lieutenant Torres checked his scanner, pushing off a bulkhead with his fingertips to glide to her position. 8 minutes, Captain. They're taking their time. Probably think we're helpless." Chen's smile was predatory. "Good. Let them think that." She activated the ship's internal comm system. "All hands. This is the captain. Remember your training. We've drilled for this scenario 1,000 times. Show these bugs what humans can really do when the gravity's off." The Kithaeron boarding pod struck the hull with metallic clangs that reverberated through the ship. Cutting torches began their work immediately, carving through the reinforced plating with industrial precision. Within minutes, the first pods, occupants breached the cargo bay. 8 Kithaeron warriors poured through the breach, their heavy exoskeletons clanking against the deck plating. Each stood nearly 7 feet tall, covered in natural armor that had evolved over millennia on high-gravity worlds. Their multiple arms carried advanced plasma weapons, and their compound eyes provided nearly 360-degree vision. They oriented themselves quickly to the ship's gravity field, except there wasn't one. The first warrior's confusion lasted exactly 2 seconds. Then Sergeant Maria Santos dropped from the ceiling vent directly above him, her body rotating in a perfect zero-G somersault. Her magnetic grapple hooks latched onto his armor plates while her legs wrapped around his thorax. Before he could react, she had triggered the emergency releases on his atmosphere pack. The Kithaeron began to thrash, his heavy limbs flailing uselessly in the weightless environment. His species had evolved in 2.3 Earth gravities. Every movement was calculated around the assumption of weight and resistance that simply didn't exist here. Santos pushed off his chest, sending him spinning helplessly toward the bulkhead while she used the momentum to sail toward her next target. Her movements were economical, graceful, adapted through countless hours of zero-G training that no ground-evolved species could match. The second warrior tried to orient his weapon, but Corporal Williams was already behind him, having ricocheted off 2 walls in a trajectory that would have been impossible to calculate in real time without intuitive 3-dimensional thinking. Williams' plasma cutter carved through the warrior's weapon before the alien could complete his turn. Throughout the ship, similar scenes played out. The Kithaeron's advantages, their armor, their strength, their redundant organs, became liabilities. In the weightless environment, their heavy exoskeletons made them clumsy and slow. Their multiple limbs, so effective in gravity, became entangled in the confined spaces. Their weapons, designed for ground combat, couldn't track targets that moved in impossible curves through 3-dimensional space. The humans flowed like water through their own ship. They used walls, ceilings, and floors interchangeably. They could stop their momentum with a fingertip touch and accelerate in any direction with the slightest push. Years of asteroid mining, orbital construction, and deep space exploration had given them an intuitive understanding of movement that no planet-bound species possessed. Captain Chen encountered Commander Vexthul in the ship's main corridor. The Kithaeron commander had managed to orient himself and was advancing steadily, using his weapon's recoil to control his movement. A clever adaptation, but still clumsy compared to human expertise. "Surrender, mammal," he hissed through his translator. "Your fragile body cannot withstand our superior firepower." Chen smiled, floating in a perfect stable position while the alien struggled to maintain his orientation. "You're right about one thing, Commander. We are fragile. But you know what fragile things learn to do?" She pushed off gently from a handrail, gliding just outside his weapon's arc while her hands found purchase on an overhead beam. Her trajectory curved in a graceful parabola that brought her behind his position before he could rotate to track her. "We learned to adapt." Her stunner took him center mass before he could complete his turn. As his unconscious form began to drift, Chen activated her comm system. "All boarding parties neutralized, Captain," came Santos's voice. "Minimal casualties. On our side. The Kithaerons, well, they're learning that evolution doesn't prepare you for everything." 3 hours later, Commander Vexthul found himself secured in the Defiance's brig, watching in humiliation as human engineers efficiently repaired the damage his forces had inflicted. Through the viewport, he could see his own ship, now under human control. Captain Chen floated into the detention area, moving with the casual grace that had proven so devastating to his forces. "Your empire was wrong about us," she said quietly. "Yes, we're fragile. We don't have armor or redundant organs or enhanced strength, but do you know what that taught us?" Vexthul remained silent, his compound eyes fixed on her form. "It taught us to think, to adapt, to use our environment instead of fighting it. Your people evolved to be strong and tough and resilient. Ours evolved to be clever." She gestured toward the viewport, where Earth's blue marble hung in the distance. "We learned to survive not by being unbreakable, but by bending without breaking." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Commander, next time your empire encounters humans, you might want to remember something. We've been living in space for centuries now. This isn't our weakness, it's our home." As she glided away, Vexthul finally understood the true horror of what had happened. His people had attacked humanity's strength while believing it was their weakness. In the vast emptiness of space, the fragile had inherited the void.